Check, check, checkity check. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, mic levels look good. Let's get rolling. Hello, welcome to Friday. Hope everyone's been having a great day today. I'm excited to get going for today. Looks like we missed a pretty epic run at 7 a.m. New York Open, but that's okay. We'll find some plays today and go from there. So let's go straight to the charts, okay? All right, so we're gonna go over here. There we go. Cool. So today we missed the 7:30 a.m. FOMC speaker. We can see how that's impacted the markets so far, and we'll see how the 10 o'clock preliminary UoM sentiment affects us as well. So let's take a good look at the charts here. Let me bring this over. We can move this over here too. Okay, so let's start with where we are in the week. So we know that this weekly candle is what we're looking at right there. That guy. So right now, we can see that we've created a high of week already. We have a weekly gap down below that we can head to. We haven't taken this high here. This high is 15,469.50. We went to 15,453. So we haven't taken that high. So that being said, that high is now suspect. So we have a relative equal highs at that time, daily imbalance. And so I would like to see us go for that today. Honestly, I think that would be my ideal if we could do that. So I'm going to remove a couple of things that we don't need anymore on this chart. But yeah, on the daily, it does kind of look like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this may be the low of week. This may be the high of week. And we just stay within this area. We could certainly, now I mention it, I'm going to get rid of this consequent encroachment since we've traded to it and we have a new wick there that will serve as liquidity instead. And we can take away this area of buy side liquidity as well since we've traded to that and rejected from that. I can take away, let me go down to, go down an hourly here. I want to take a few things away. All this stuff, I can remove the buy side liquidity there. We've taken it. So let's make the charts a little bit cleaner here. Get rid of some of this stuff. Good, good, good. We can remove all of this stuff. Excellent. Okay, so we've cleared that segment. We also want to pull this out a little bit, as this could serve as a mitigation block potentially, or a jumping off point. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. $15,286.5. Okay. Previous mitigation block there. We've come down into this buy side imbalance, so we no longer need to hold this here. But we do, I am curious about extending this over, because originally we wanted to see that pass through and then reject through. But what we're seeing now is that we're actually using this on the opposite side, heading into these areas of liquidity, like I mentioned yesterday. So what do I see? Well, there is this area of liquidity. Yeah. See that? Let's put that at 5 p.m. Let's make this a sell side imbalance. So there's an hourly sell side imbalance that I am looking for. Fibonacci 61.5 is roughly the consequent encroachment of that fair value gap. So that's a level that I would be looking towards for us to head up to before potentially rejecting it again. Would like to see how it respects this or not, but if it doesn't, then I would expect us to go up to this premium PD array. If we look on the grand scheme of things, let's go up to a 4-hour chart just to be very clear. So we've had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. So what we want to see is a lower high here, and then we want to see evidence that we can continue downwards and not, and maybe leave these relative equal highs to be taken out at another time. So this still stands, the daily imbalance, that still stands. Let's see, anything else here? So on the daily, let's look at this a little closer. So on the daily, you can see that there's still this fair value gap, which is open up. This fair value gap, which is opened up. This fair value gap, which is opened up. So lots of liquidity to the downside, but we haven't taken this up, this top side, buy side liquidity yet. What we have done is we have traded above this rejection block on the daily. So what I would like to see is, again, what I'm thinking, what I would like to see today is for us to come back up into premium, and then gonna get rid of this fib here, come back up into premium. We could treat this midpoint and this volume imbalance as well. It's a weekly volume imbalance, so let's take a look at the weekly chart real quick and see how we've traded to and from that. I think that when we last looked at this during pre-market prep, the weekly volume imbalance here, you can see it right there. You can see we haven't traded and closed above there. So ideally, hey, stock trader, good morning, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. So we haven't seen price trade up and through that as well as down to it. We've only seen wicks go through it so far. So at some point those will get closed, but we don't know exactly when. And then I'm actually gonna take out this. I'm gonna extend this hourly volume imbalance. And let me move some of these things over. Let me get rid of this as well. It's too much around here. Let's mark this as a 15. Possible bearish breaker. Okay, so let's go back down the hourly chart. It's gonna be a little bit easier to see. All right, so we see a high, low, higher high, lower low. We could see this treat this as a possible bearish breaker here. This was a previous short-term low. So if we break down from here, that would be plausible, because then that would be treating this as a breakaway gap, and we would have traded to the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap here. I don't have that highlighted, but you can in your charts. So we're looking to see if this can be treated as a bearish breaker. Let me set this as a black line, solid black, so I can kind of see this now. And where else on the hourly might we look towards? Well, we have this area here. We can get rid of this here, no need. We have some old new week opening gap low here. And we can kind of see those go from a while back. So those go from like October. So this is close to the point where we are going to remove it. But let's move all these over here so we can refer to them. That's the only thing in Ninja, you have to manually move these, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. We use the platform after all. Okay, so we can move all of these over here, but we do need to extend these out over time. So let's do that. And let's extend it out to today. Same for this daily. Let's extend it out to today. 5 o'clock p.m. Okay, great. So now we have our daily levels kind of extended out over time. We want this one as well. 672. These are really close together here. So we're gonna keep those. Those all look good. And all these other ones have been traded too. So yep. So we have the daily buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiencies to the downside marked. So let's see what happens today with the hourly, and we'll go from there. All right. Real-time hour charts. We may want these two accounts there. We want 20 to copy to these other accounts. We want this one to copy to these 4 accounts. We want this to copy to these 4 accounts. And then lastly, we want this one to copy to those 4 accounts. So now I have my copies, trade copier set up. Let's look at real-time hour chart so we can see where our previous day ended. Okay, so previous day's range, remember, we opened up, we took that out immediately, and then we jacked up the buy side there. So we are going to take a look. So price is at 15,288 right now. So we believe that this is probably a low where we ended the day yesterday. We'll put that right around there. And then TBD on what we do for the high. So we're going to leave that over there. We have the low, which we'll mark here. And then the high, which we will also mark, which we don't know exactly where it will be. So we're just going to stack it for the time being there. So if we open up higher, we are going to be at 288. We're going to be above this breaker point, right? Let me draw this out over time a little bit. Let's pull this over to, we will not need to have it go this far, but we're going to extend this out over time. So we'll have a gap open up to the downside if we stay where we are at right now. You can see in the charts in the background. You can see how these charts in the background show that where we are right now is 15,288, right where this breaker is. So we'll open up with a gap lower if we open up there. So I'm thinking that if we see a immediate rebalance here, that we can certainly treat that as a point to head up higher, to head up into this area and tear into this hourly fair value gap. There's not a lot of imbalances which have been taken or left open. There's this one up here and this one up here. So there's not a ton to the upside, but to the downside, we have these areas. Come on, internet. Unable to connect. Okay, looks like my internet just died out there real quick. That's really annoying. Okay, so I should be back now. Check, check, mic check. All right, so we will see where we open. Price currently, we're going to be opening up with a gap lower. So if we hit gap lower, maybe we retrace down to that gap, trade down to that gap, and then close it, and then head back upwards. And then 10 o'clock a.m. Remember, today we have 10 a.m. preliminary UoM consumer sentiment. That's not typically something that I see an insane amount of movement on. So I would venture to say that today taking stops and taking profit is going to benefit you greater. So that's it for today. I need to get started, get this going on. Okay, we should be back. Hey, good morning, insert name here. Sorry, my OBS and my internet connection is a little spotty today, so I'm monitoring this to make sure I don't drop anything. So we're good with the real-time hour discussion now, and we are ready for the day today. So let's see what we have here. Possible breaker. I can actually keep, you know what, I'll keep the pink one up here where price is currently. There we go. It's roughly around here right now. So we'll keep the high part of that opening range nearby, so we know where that gap is going to look like in the beginning of the day. Okay. So now we wait. We are waiting for looks like we are slowly creeping up into this fair value gap up here. So this greater increases the opening range gap as price continues upwards. We have gone up quite a bit this week, right? From there, this is the whole week right there. So we have gone up quite a bit, and if this week is going to continue to expand, it's going to go to take out these relative equal highs we see there. If it's going to continue expansion to the upside, then that's where it's going to go, honestly. It might just leave. It may just leave this area open, but we'll see. Seeing that we do see a fair value gap like break open from this area of liquidity before, and we came down here, took this buy side here. You see this, there's another fair value gap down here, which is overlapped. You can kind of see how we went down. We took that buy side imbalance, and then we've created a market structure shift on the lower time frames higher. So what does that mean? So I think that means that I want to mark this hourly fair value gap out here. I want to keep that in my notes for later. So this one here that you see here, traded down, up, down to it, and back up, and kind of bounced off of it. So I'm thinking we'll come back and we'll come back to today. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we're gonna end up coming back down to this fair value gap, taking that out. These are too clean, so I'm thinking we might even take that out. But we do have relative equal highs up here, and a daily target as well, which could result in a weekly expansion. So I'm thinking we'll end up creeping up and taking that out today, but it is Friday, so difficult to tell. There's liquidity to the downside as well, so it's just a tricky day. But certainly considering the nature of what's happening right now, the sentiment, I think people are generally looking to deploy capital in a way that they've been kind of just sitting on it for a while. So we'll see how the market goes. I mean, right now, from 7 a.m. till here, it's been a slow rise of almost 90 some points, right? So let's see what happens now that we've reached the upper edge of this fair value gap here. Kind of see that there. I guess I will mark it out for you. So we're at the top part of this fair value gap now. We haven't seen a lower low yet. So that's something to take into consideration. And it's always had a tough time getting below these lower lows. So if it never gets here, I would look for a bounce within this buy side imbalance today. I'd look for a bounce here, and for us to go up to at least take out this rejection block up here. And if it gets up there, it's probably gonna go into take out this short-term high, and then head into this daily SIBI that we hadn't traded to yet. So that's what I'm looking for today. Maybe taking that out and then retracing for the end of the week. Yesterday's bond sale can certainly be rebought up throughout this morning's price action. So that's it for today. I'm going to go make sure I can get into my work laptop. All right, so any questions? Any questions out in the audience? Where do you think the market will go today? Looks like this might just creep up there and keep creeping up there until open. So interesting. Nothing that I see on the lower time frames merits me taking any position where we are at right now. Fibonacci. Okay, well, if there's no questions out there, I'm gonna go get some water, go off camera, get some water, and then see how this morning's creep up gets handled today. Lots of small internal and range liquidity plays today, so when there's not real big one-sidedness, that makes it a little bit more difficult to trade. So just be careful today. Fridays are typically not huge risk on days or risk off. Just don't use like too many contracts if you haven't gotten used to the one yet. All right, I will be back, and I'll put up the text box, and hopefully I can find some trades with you today. Good luck today. Trade safe. Catch up in a little bit.